seat. I was gonna mix up the name, but I didn't do it. Right? That's right.
27. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting of June 27th. And will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind everybody this is being telecast by Chelmsford Telemedia, and I'd like to know, is anybody else in here recording anything here? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, public service announcements. Eagle Scout Bryce Zachary. Is he not here? Okay. Let's go to, is Mike here? Mike, yeah, Chelmsford Youth Baseball. Mike Donahue, 2016 12-year-old regional baseball tournament, 7-16, right?
Good evening. My name is Mike Donahue. If you've seen me around town, I work for the fire department. But I'm here tonight on behalf of the Chelmsford Youth Baseball. I serve as the general manager. And we have a couple of exciting events coming up in the month of July. The first is we are going to be hosting for the first time the 15-year-old state tournament. We host one half of the tournament. That starts July 7th. And that tournament doesn't quite have the same pomp and circumstance as the younger tournaments. It just, as they get older, that kind of wanes off. But the big tournament for us will start on July 15th. That's the opening ceremonies at 6 o'clock. I'd like to invite you all to come. It'll be right down back on the big baseball field, the volunteer field. And that is going to be the 12-year-old 60-foot Northeast Region Tournament. So by 60 foot, those are the dimensions at which the kids play. The base paths are 60 feet long. So we'll be hosting teams from the 6 northeastern states. So they'll be here for the weekend, at least through Monday before the first team will be sent home. We're working with the Convention and Visitors Bureau on room stays, welcoming packages. This really should be a big event, should be good for the town at what is historically kind of a slow time in the tourism portion. So we'd like you to all to come down. George, we're going to ask you to say a few words, if you would. Throw out the first pitch, so remember that arm up.
I don't know, George.
I don't know, he did pretty good last year.
I'd have to call in a pitcher.
Yeah. Can we do that reliever?
So we'd love to have you all there, and we want you to come down looking like you belong.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
I can get rid of my
teams,
spinach
Mike?
hat now.
How many teams?
There'll be 8 teams. So there's multiple teams from Mass because they divide the state of Mass into 2 districts.
Right.
And then there'll be one from Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine.
Double elimination? Or is
No,
it-
that is pool play. So they'll all play
Okay.
a minimum number of games.
Yeah.
There'll be two pools first, and then it'll go into a double elimination.
Is there a skills tournament on Friday?
So
night?
Friday night will be the skills competition.
Oh, right.
So the kids will have a little barbecue down back first, and we'll introduce them all. We'll get to welcome them to town, and then they'll head over to the other diamonds, and they'll compete on throwing accuracy, hitting, and speed, how fast they run. So they can only put up certain players from each team, so not the whole team doesn't compete. So they kind of determine who their entries are going to be prior to their arrival.
Ron Harrington, who just came in, I think he won an accuracy contest in Hackensack, New Jersey, about 75 years ago, but, right?
Right, Mr. Chairman,
Right.
right there with me.
I was.
Well, you come on down too, John. So we'd love to have you. We hope to see you there, and you'll be in style with that hat when you show up. We'll know right who you are. Just feel free to come down there, 6 o'clock on July 15th. We'll assemble on the big field. I'll be there looking for you, and we'll bring you out in the pitcher's mound area.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to good luck, and thanks for doing all you do for them kids.
Thank you.
Okay, Lions Club,
Yes.
Ron?
Hi, I'm Ron
Charles.
Hubbard, president of the Lions Club, and also chairman of the Country Fair for the 4th of July, which is obviously coming up this weekend. The country fair is going to start on Sunday evening at 5 and run till 11 o'clock. And then on the 4th, it'll commence again at 8 o'clock in the morning and run till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got 67 spaces, all sold out. Everything from arts and crafts to food to games, lots of stuff for kids, dunk tank, you name it. And we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event. We also have some entertainment that night at the center of the Common. Dance teams, martial arts team, and the Suburbanettes. And then that'll all be followed by the Chelmsford Community Band at 7, and they'll play from 7 till 9. So once again, 5 o'clock on Sunday evening on the Common, and then again, of course, on the 4th. So we'll look forward to a good, hopefully the weather will cooperate. It has in the past. So, great,
Hopefully.
thank you.
That's a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Charlene Svensson, and I'm with the Lions Club also. I'm the secretary this year, and I just wanted to do a save the date. I know it's long in the future, but it's September 26th is going to be our next event, which would be our Apple Fall Fest, which we're combining with the town of Chelmsford, and the Lions Club are combining 2 events. And more information would be given on the in-town report and the Chelmsford News on Facebook and on the town website. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Anybody like to speak under open session?
We have a couple, is anybody going to speak about the parade?
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that one. I didn't
No,
see,
you can
I
do
didn't
it.
see it.
Yeah, the parade committee is meeting tonight doing their lineup, but the parade will will commence as traditionally on Monday the 4th at 10 a.m. at the McCarthy School. The parade route brings it all the way down through the center, and basically right past the Common, down towards the Adams Library, and that's where it concludes. And then the floats and marches sort of disperse. There will be a reviewing stand over at the Common, and some shade also, because the forecast right now is sunny and about 80 degrees, so it should be a great day. The parade will last about 2 hours, from 10 to noon, and also for those who are unable to attend, it will also be shown live and then rebroadcast on Chelmsford Telemedia.
Thank you, Paul. Now, open session. Anybody like to speak under open session? Okay, nobody. Go to committee vacancies, Pat, please.
Okay. As of today, the following vacancies exist on town committees. There's 1 vacancy on the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, one vacancy on the Civic Committee, 1 vacancy on the Community Action Program Committee. There's several vacancies on the Cultural Council. It can have up to 21 members, so anybody interested in that, please apply. There are 2 vacancies on the Economic Development Commission, 2 vacancies on the Historic Commission, 1 vacancy on the IT Capital Advisory Committee. Looks like 3 vacancies on the Energy Conservation Committee, 2 3-year terms and 1 unexpired term for 2 years. 2 vacancies on the Public Celebrations Committee, 1 vacancy on the Recycling Committee, 1 vacancy on the Sign Advisory Committee, 3 vacancies on the Tree Committee, and also Paul didn't mention about the volunteers that the Parade Committee is looking for the 4th of July, particularly holding banners for the different groups that are marching in the parade. So if you're interested in that, you can contact the town manager's office for anyone on the parade committee. And I understand that for folks, especially kids that are willing to hold the banners for that 2-mile trek from McCarthy to the center, they will be given a $20 gift of Chelmsford card, so you can use that at many local businesses. So a little incentive to get kids to come and carry those banners. So that's the committee vacancies we have as of today. If you're interested in any of these, you can fill out an application online or in person at the town manager's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports and presentations. John Souza, bond sale approval for capital plan and refunding.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm pleased to report that last Wednesday we had a very successful auction of just over $7 million of Town of Chelmsford municipal bonds. As the information indicates in your packets, we had received bids from 6 firms. The low bidder was Janney Montgomery Scott. with a total interest cost of just over 1.38%. About a week earlier than that, Standard & Poor's reaffirmed the town's bond rating at AA+ with a stable outlook, so that was good news. The bond proceeds, just to explain, will be used for two main purposes. $4 million will be used to refund or refinance our existing bonds that we issued back in 2011. The refunding transaction will produce savings of about $495,000 over the next 14 years that are remaining on those 2011 bonds. And the bulk of that savings is for the DPW facility, the money that we borrowed for that back in 2011. The remaining $3.02 million will be used to finance all of the capital projects that were approved under the FY17 capital plan. Hopefully you had a chance to see the motion that I emailed out to everyone. Bond council's prepared a very detailed motion. It's about 2 pages. I apologize for the length, but there's a lot of legalese there that has to be handled. And respectfully, I'd ask the board to please approve the motion and as written in the sale of our bonds to the low bidder.
You want to read it, or do you think we just should, has everybody read it? Should we
I've read it.
for the town?
I can read it. It won't,
Read it to the record, sure.
yeah,
I think for
sure.
the town, we should maybe make it for public.
Okay. I make a motion that in order to reduce interest costs, the treasurer is authorized to issue refunding bonds at one time or from time to time pursuant to Chapter 44, Section 21A of the General Laws, or pursuant to any other enabling authority to refund the town's $9,903,704 general obligation municipal purpose loan of 2010 bonds, Series A, dated July 1, 2010, maturing in the years 2019 through 2024, inclusive, 2026, 2028, 2030, in the aggregate principal amount of $4,075,000, collectively the refunded bonds, and that the proceeds of any refunding bonds issued pursuant to this vote shall be used to pay the principal, redemption premium, if any, and interest on the refunded bonds and costs of issuance of the remaining funds, and that the sale of the $7,020,567 general obligations municipal purpose loan of 2016 bonds of the town, dated July 5th, 2016, the bonds, to Janney Montgomery Scott LLC at the price of $7,698,154.74, and accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and confirmed. The bond shall be payable on June 15th of the years, and the principal amounts and bear interest in the rates as listed in the table listed in this motion. Also, that in connection with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated June 15, 2016, and a final official statement dated June 26, 2016, the official statement, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted, and that the bond shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon such terms and conditions as are set forth in the official statement, and to authorize the execution and delivery of a refunding escrow agreement to be dated July 5th, 2016, between the town and U.S. Bank National Association as refunding escrow agent, and that the town treasurer and the Board of Selectmen be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a continuing disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds for the benefit of the holders of the bonds from time to time, and that we authorize and direct the treasurer to establish post-insurance federal trust compliance procedures in such form as the treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds, and that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions in the foregoing votes. That's my motion.
You want some water?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Congratulations.
Sure.
Town manager reports?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple items this evening. The first one is an annual requirement under the town charter, and that is the designation of qualified officers who may perform the duties of the town manager during my temporary absence or disability, and the list is unchanged from prior years. Basically, it's the community development director, the public works director, or the finance director. And of that three, two of those, which would obviously not be the finance director treasurer, since he's a signature to the checks, the others may sign the payroll and vendor warrants in the rare circumstances in which I may be absent to perform these duties in a timely manner. And as I've explained to previous boards, the reason I go with this list of officials is basically the others, such as the fire chief and police chief, they're not located on the site, and also because of their command responsibilities within those departments, we tend to not include them on this list of officials. So fortunately, it's the 10th year, and we haven't had to draw upon this, and hopefully, God willing, we won't have to in the year ahead. The next item I have, and it's just an update that materials that I'd sent to the board, and I know has been reported in social media and so forth. And this is just a formal notification that we as the party responsible for the maintenance of town conservation lands, working with the Public Works Department and Bill Askenberg regarding the Roberts Field. Since we have executed the habitat management and trail plan, again, it's available on our website. And it goes through all the details in terms of maintenance and such as removing invasive plants, building additional boardwalks and so forth to basically keep the beauty and activities that are going on over there. And obviously it did involve our Conservation Commission as well. So just wanted to formally notify that on the record, and obviously offer our continued thanks and appreciation to Bill Askenberg and the other members of the Friends of Roberts Field. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. That the only other matter I'd have quickly under reports, and it really what I've been keeping you up to date by emails and other activities, is obviously we're all watching the state budgetary situation as a result of the shortfall. Today, the governor signed into law a 1/12 budget, or basically a 1-month budget for the upcoming fiscal year of the state. They're basically their revenue assumptions that were decided upon last December are basically not being met for a tune of probably $750 to $1 billion. Because of that, which would normally be the period where they'd be finalizing the state budget and the governor would be looking for signatures, they're still in that conference committee efforts. So we'll see how things develop in basically the next month. At this point, there's been no indication that there'll be an effort to cut the local aid numbers that they provided to the towns through the budgetary process. However, what you may see is some more discretionary items that will be of concern. So we'll keep you updated as it unfolds. But as of this afternoon, there's been no finalized plan. Apparently, the state, according to the governor this afternoon, they will finish the current year in the black because he's basically has done some transfers and held off on discretionary spending. And now they're sort of trying to figure out how they go forward. And as we all know, sort of a bit of economic uncertainty in our time. So I just wanted to let the board know that we'll keep you updated. Also, the part of the push is, and you saw this in the message I'd forwarded you today from the Mass Municipal Association, there's an ongoing effort to also do this Municipal Modernization Act, or basically some reforms that would help local governments in a period of again, if the funding isn't going to be there, then perhaps they could do some other legislative relief that could reduce some of the burdens to cities and towns. So I will keep you updated. Again, the legislative session will end at the end of July under state law, because that is the end of the formal session, and then they basically go off into informal session where really no action takes place until after the election in November. The other thing to note that's extraordinary this year is because of the Democratic and Republican national conventions, that's going to eat up 2 of the weeks in July. So it's really going to be a big push to get a lot done, not only budgetary-wise, but also the other major pieces of legislative action, because under the rules, if it doesn't get acted upon by the end of July, it all starts up new again, fresh next January, which means you're really talking a year away from anything happening, because you have to go through the whole legislative hearing process anew. So it's going to be a very busy month, and we'll do our best to keep you updated on the outcomes. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Under bid awards, we did...
Can I ask a question, Paul?
Sure, yeah.
So under the current budget,
Yeah.
or the budget that's going to take place on July 1,
Yeah.
they don't have enough money, right?
Well, they don't have a budget in place. Yeah, right. They don't have enough. When they start the budget process, basically the governor, as you know, files his budget in January.
Right.
Prior to that, in December, the House, the representative, the Senate, and the governor agree on a budget number, revenue number.
Right.
And that way, no matter even if their plan's different, at least they have the same bottom line.
Right.
Now what they're saying is that bottom line is probably not going to be reached by a tune of $750 million to $1 billion.
So it could change. So
It could
the
change.
aid to the cities and towns could change.
That's what we don't know. So what thus far, they've not shown any indication that they want to cut local aid because, as they know, 351 cities and towns have adopted budgets that start July 1 as well.
Right.
And so they're basically trying to look at what type of discretionary spending and other actions they can do. What it may do is there were a number of earmarked projects that in the budget which may end up getting held up.
Slid back.
And we may say things such as, the amount of money we get for the senior center, for elder services and so forth. Those are the type of things that they would cut as opposed to cutting Chapter 70 or Chapter, or unrestricted general government aid or lottery aid. So it tends to be those, non-major accounts but they do have an impact because if the Council on Aging is going to get the same money from Meals on Wheels, then obviously they've got to make some adjustments over at the senior center. So we're all just looking to see what is it that's going to come out, and then in what form. And I think that's the key. So again, we won't really know anything probably for 4 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
And then the other thing that's going to happen is the treasurer is not going to get his local aid payment. And what they pretty much have said that if a city or town was in dire shape and you needed emergency aid, because again, they're only doing a 1 month budget, that they would make provisions, but we're not going to be in that category. But you're right, normally we'd get a local aid payment real soon after July 1, but now
Right.
that will be held up, so that won't help our cash flow.
Even though they're going to have a 1/12 budget, they're going to
Right.
hold it up.
Right, but they're not going to, that won't include the full appropriation of local aid. And with that in mind, as John probably would have thought to mention if he had thought about it, you will see the first quarter property tax bills go out in the next couple of days, and those bills are due on August 1st.
Doesn't stop.
Okay, back on bid awards. Since our last meeting, we did have the bid awards for the sugar maple farming at Sunny Meadow Farm. We did receive the one proposal from James Durgay. A copy of it is in your packet. The proposal would basically be for the period that we indicated, at the 10-year period that we had gone to town meeting for authorization. He's proposing basically $1 a year payment to the town. And he's also seeking financial contribution from the town for the saplings. I am not going to commit our local tax dollars, meaning our general budgetary dollars, towards this project. And I will notify him of that fact. If he chooses or wishes to go to the Community Preservation Fund for that type of assistance, that would be within his discretion, and that would be up to the Community Preservation Committee. But I will not honor an agreement that basically seeks a financial contribution towards planting those saplings.
I'm glad to hear that.
So
Yeah, me
that's
too.
where I'm at on this project.
And I don't think he mentioned that when he came in, that
No,
he'd be
no,
looking for the town
exactly.
to subsidize.
So again, he can propose. What I will do, if the board's consent for the award, is we'll notify him that we would authorize his use of the property for the period as authorized by town meeting for the nominal lease of $1 per year for the 10-year period. However, I would notify him that there will be no use of the town's general revenue funds, towards any of the plantings. So
Now, he intends to sell the maple syrup, does he not?
yes, that's what he does. I mean, no one could personally use that quantity of maple syrup. And as you notice in his proposal, he does do this at other locations in town. So what the benefit to the town is of this activity is it takes an area that's sitting sort of fallow on the edge of the property, puts it into an active agricultural use. He's also going to use it as a community and agricultural education benefit by, inviting participants in the schools and others to know about sugar maple farming and so forth. And so that's sort of the community benefit of this activity.
Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
liked most of the
Right.
the presentation except for that.
Exactly. Okay.
So he's going to purchase 5,000 trees.
Yeah, seedlings. Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
There's going to be 5,000 trees out there.
Right, and they're not going to mature. He
They're gonna be
basically cuts them back.
Mini trees. but
Exactly.
He's going to tap them in a new way off the top.
Exactly.
Didn't he say they would be about 5 years old, though?
Yeah, before you can start tapping them,
Or
they've got to be
some-
about 3 or 4 years old, and then for that remainder of the period, that's what he would do. So he'll plant 1,000 per year and then just building up the stock. And then he's responsible for providing all the tapping equipment and hose and all the other materials. And there'll be no sugar shack house on the property or anything like that.
Now, is this supposed to be more productive, the way that he proposes to harvest the
Apparently.
maple sap?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that, but,
Otherwise,
It
you'd
was
have to wait for many years.
Faster
Right.
production. The
Oh, okay,
maturity,
faster,
You
okay.
didn't get to the
Right.
Sure.
level of maturity.
yeah, but it kind of stunts the growth of the maple trees, right?
Right.
Annual appointments?
No, so I need a
wanna-
vote if the board wishes to
Vote.
authorize that award.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we direct the town manager to revisit the bid award with James, what's his name?
Durgay. Yeah.
And allow the use of the property for the maple sap processing, but without any financial support from the town of Chelmsford. Is that sufficient?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Okay. Annual appointments?
Yeah, in your packet, and I'll display it on screen, is the balance of the annual appointments, basically with the people that we were still pulling up from the last meeting. And also, we did notice that there are some selectmen appointments that are outstanding as well. So as you can see, it goes from ADA coordinator, I've got 2 for the Council on Aging, fence viewer, IT Capital Advisory Committee. These are all renewals. Now, the selectmen have an appointment there on the list for the Housing Advisory Board. We have the Sexual Harassment Grievance Officers, Tree Committee. The selectmen you have to make an appointment on Town Council, and then the balance of the Parade Committee. So again, these are all reappointments.
When you say the balance, you mean these people or additional people?
No, these are all the
that have been appointed?
remaining annual appointments.
From the ones we did at the last meeting.
Right, from the ones from previous meeting. Again, these are all renewals, and so it's up, you probably want to do it in 2 motions. One is for my appointments for confirmation, and then as you said on the list, there are 2 that pertain to the board.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the town council, when, is that a year-to-year, or is it a contracted date time?
Well, the board has traditionally appointed council year to year.
I want to relook at it. I don't want to
That's-
reappoint them.
That's for you guys to.
Okay, but their appointment is up the end of this month, so could we reappoint
You
them
don't
for
think
a
they'll still
couple-
do work for us?
Well, could we reappoint them for 2 months while we,
I'll agree to that, yeah, definitely. But I think periodically, and it hasn't been since John Curlin was on the board, that it's been looked at, and I think it should be looked at maybe every 3 to 5 years, just to see if we're getting the best deal and the best price and the best expertise. We have a lot of certain issues that are, now that they've become so big, they also represent towns that join us. So when we have a problem with another town like Billerica, they have to be very careful about what they do. But I'd just like to see what's out there, and
Well, we can open it up
How would you go
for
about
bids.
just setting the criteria for evaluation?
well, that's what we do as part of it, as part of opening the bid, sort
We
of.
invited people who wanted to
Right.
come in and.
You invite
last
people
time
in.
We invited whoever wanted to come in and.
Right.
I think we had 3, yeah.
Yeah, we narrowed it down to 3. I think we had
Yeah.
some choices, and we narrowed it down to the 3, and they gave the presentation.
Yeah,
And then prior to that,
Yeah,
we
20-minute
could have a subcommittee within the board that sets up criteria, questions, so we ask the same questions of every legal firm.
We can
if-
bring them in like in the August, or you want to bring them in September?
No, let's bring them in September. I think that would
Okay,
Then I
so-
think we need more than a 2-month
yeah.
extension.
So I'd like to at least delete the town council from that list.
Well, how about if I make a motion that we extend the Copeland and Page appointment of town council through September 30th, 2016?
That's fine. You can do it that way, too.
All right, that was motion.
Yeah.
The only suggestion I would have is that you do have a town meeting in October. So the question is would you want to extend it through fall town meeting, or would you want to change up council? Because somebody's going to be doing the warrants, the motions,
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean,
sitting at town meeting.
I'm open to that. I just
I'm
want to
just,
look at, I just want to look at
it's
it.
your vote. I'm just trying to point out an issue
What
that,
is it? Is it the end of October?
yeah, town meeting's the third Monday in October. It finishes by the end of October.
Okay.
But I just would
Okay.
point that out as a point of information.
No, that's a good point, Paul.
Finishes,
Yeah, it finishes
October.
the end of October, yeah.
so why don't we,
Maybe we could wait then till later in the year to do it. I know you want to do it, but
Yeah.
I mean, we could still do it in November.
I mean, we could do it December 1st, or,
Okay,
you
so
know,
let's say 6 months. I'll
Yeah.
amend my motion to
That's fine.
the end of this calendar year.
that's fine. Thank you.
second? Second? Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and then I'll make a motion to approve the town manager's reappointments as presented.
I'll second.
Discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, as far as the Housing Advisory Board, I've been on that since the beginning.
Well, this is just for John Edward, not for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
There's
right.
there's only a few here.
I
There's-
thought, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah, it's just that
I thought
one.
this was the board's appointment, you know?
It is a board's appointment,
I know
but not
that.
the board appointment.
Right.
Is that the only selectman one on the call?
Yep.
Okay, the only,
And town
okay.
council.
All right, and I'll make a motion to reappoint John Edward to the Housing Advisory Board for, it says a one-year term, I
No,
thought that was a
it's-
three-year.
It's either 2 or 3.
Okay, well, I'll make it for a three-year term then?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Thank you.
Now, can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman? Why isn't the town council and the town accountant, I'm sorry, the town manager and the town accountant also on that list?
Because under the town charter, the town manager's appointment's indefinite. Under the town charter, I think the Board of Selectmen appointed the town accountant for a multi-year period. I think it was,
Yeah, she doesn't have a contract from what
No,
I understand, but she's hired, just like
right.
you hire Evan
Right.
or somebody like that, or just like
Right.
the town clerk. It's just,
Right.
it's an indefinite
Right.
appointment until they leave or we.
These were selectmen appointments that we voted on,
Correct.
right? So I don't understand why,
Because these are committees,
these are committees,
correct. Yeah, town accountant's not a committee. Town manager's not a
and
committee.
town council isn't. Okay,
Well,
that's
you're
fine.
right about that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Fence viewer isn't. I can go on. All right.
and then for a new appointment, I'm asking your confirmation for appointment of Stephen Bushell to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2019.
I'll make a motion that we approve the town manager's appointment of Stephen Postel to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting minutes, I guess.
I'll make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes of April 11th, 2016.
I had one typo I saw. Oh, it got fixed. I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion that we approve the work session meeting minutes for May 23rd, 2016.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Liaisons. Bob? Selectmen liaison and reports and referrals?
Well, the only thing I really have is congratulations to the town clerk for being appointed Clerk of the Year, and it's a very deserving honor for the. And when I spoke to her today, she said it wasn't just her; it was the gladiators that worked for her. So. Congratulations to all of them for being honored with that.
Nice move.
That's it.
Thank you. Laura?
Okay, I had a bunch of things going on here. Let's say, Neshoba Valley Tech, Assistant Principal Matthew Richard has accepted the position of principal. So the principal moved up to superintendent, and now the assistant principal has replaced her position. Oak Hill, the progress is continuing on the bridge, parking area, and pathway. And I just wanted to thank the guys at the DPW for all the work that they've been doing there all spring. They're really cleaning up that area and building the parking lot, and I know that they've had a lot of pulls on their resources for different town projects this season. The library has got the foundation poured up for the carriage house, and also has announced their outdoor concert series at the McKay Library Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 7:30. The July dates are geared towards a younger audience. They have kind of a fantasy theme music, and the August dates are for older children and adults. Regarding the school committee this week, they voted on a change in the start date this year for the Chelmsford High School. The freshmen and their peer mentors will be starting on the Wednesday, 9/7 as usual, but sophomores, juniors, and seniors will be starting up the following day on the 8th, and that is to help give the freshmen more time to make the transition while allowing the peer mentors time to help while they're scrambling to get to their own classes and things the first day. So that's where this decision has come about. The custodial transition has begun this month, and so they're looking forward to seeing some changes over at the schools starting this summer. And the school assessment, the final review was pushed out this month, so now we're going to see the plan for a full-time kindergarten in July, and the building assessment recommendations are going to get pushed out till August or a little bit later, depending on how long it takes them to get that together. And that's all I have, other than I went to a great Eagle Scout ceremony for Joe Rosano and Josh Walsh over the weekend, and congratulations to those young men on their accomplishments. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Glenn?
This past week, the planning board was presented a very comprehensive PowerPoint presentation by Evan Delansky that was developed through the working group trying to look at the 129 area. And it primarily focused on not what, but more on why there's something needed to create out there. The planning board took it under advisement. They indicated they have a very busy July, August work coming up, but they are going to begin their discussion on what perhaps should be done out there. And the goal from Evan was that they would like to see something available to bring to town meeting, but the planning board in some ways was skeptical that it could be done that fast. The planning board meeting is recorded, so I encourage anyone in the town who might like to get more involved and keep abreast of this to watch that program and future programs of the planning board where this discussion is going to be carried on.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'd like to see as many people get involved in watching this and giving their input and as possible throughout the town as the progress, as the study progresses. So it's very important, and I think it's vital. It's a big decision, and I think, you know, they can use all the input they can get from everybody in town. Thank you. Is that it, Glenn? Bad?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Bob stole some of my thunder on Honorina. I was going to congratulate her also. So congratulations, Honorina. And also in the town clerk's office, Thad Souley last week passed his bar exam. So congratulations to him. We'll be interested to see what he does next, where he goes to next, or if he elects to stay with us at the town clerk's office. And I want to congratulate Paul for being inducted as the incoming president of the Chelmsford Rotary last week. So he's going to have Yeah, Chelmsford.
Chelmsford Rotary?
Chelmsford Rotary, yep. So, congratulations, Paul.
Yeah, congratulations.
An announcement, the Veterans Memorial Park Committee is going to hold a fundraiser on July 10th at the Elks. It'll be a car show from 9 to 2. So come by and support the Chelmsford Elks. The admission is free. They're going to be selling lottery tickets and other things there. So come by and support the Veterans Memorial Park. And lastly, this morning, Paul and I were at the Lake Funeral Home for the groundbreaking ceremony for their new facility that they will be building right next to the one that they have there. So we'll be looking forward to seeing a ribbon cutting several months from now. So it's going to be a great facility, and congratulations for them for taking this step and for staying in town with, and continuing their investment here in Chelmsford. That's all I have.
Thank you, Pat. Again, I was going to mention Honorina. I guess we all were, basically, so I'll throw that in anyway, because she's done a great job, and we're lucky to have her, and it's a great honor for the town to have the clerk of the year from the state of Massachusetts as our own town clerk. And she's done a great job with the staff, and she has a great staff, and they do a great job. So, and I just wish everyone a great 4th of July weekend, and I hope to see you all at the parade. Are there any press questions? No press questions?
Okay,
We have to.
Yep. I'll make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy with respect to collective bargaining, not to return to open session.
Yes.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Good evening. Our next meeting is
July
2 weeks, July 11th.
July 11th. Thank you.